Now, the fact that Larry Carlton is here, over the years, you've shared the stage many times.
Yep.
I spoke with Larry the other day and we were asking him the same question about yourself. But could you talk us through from your perspective, having worked with him for so many years and being a friend, what is the most special part of Larry's playing to you?
Well, he's a very interesting cat in that it's there's kind of this extreme because, you know, we played together a lot, you know. We toured for about 2.5 years off and on all over the world. We went everywhere. And first we went to Japan, right? And I always thought of Larry as sort of the grown-up in the room. He's like, how you doing?
Yeah.
But, you know, of course, I had a tremendous amount of respect for him as a guy who could go into the studio and, you know, just like accompany others. And you know, that for me, it was the initial thing. And I think probably a lot of people felt that way. I wasn't listening to Larry, you know, like Crusaders, all of that. I didn't know who he was when I joined Joni Mitchell and the LA Express. And so it was all very new to me, that studio world. So the first impression was his ability to walk into a room, you know, sit down and do this ridiculous record with Steely Dan, you know. And I couldn't do that. You know, I hadn't a clue how to do that. So it was cool that way. I looked up, I admired him in that way, you know. But a lot of time went by before we actually connected and started playing together, really, you know. We did a little bit in LA back then, you know, in the 70s. But it wasn't that much, really. So, you know, he had his breakout, you know, career. I had mine on the other side. And I was, of course, always incredibly impressed with his playing. But what I mean by this extreme thing, so we worked together quite a lot. And we'd go out there and Larry would play, be good, you know, everything's cool, you know. And, you know, it's just kind of going along, you know, we're doing our thing. And then just one night, all of a sudden, he would just explode. And it would, your hair's standing on end, you know. So I kept wondering, well, what are you waiting for, you know? But like yeah, and he said to me once on that tour, he goes, you know, I don't hit my home runs every night, Robben. And I'm like, I thought it was an interesting perspective, but it's just who he is. You know, he goes out, he plays great, does his thing, you know. But then every now and then, it's just this incredible, you know, beast is unleashed with a guitar. And that was always just, it was very exciting when he would do that, you know.